Well, hello there. My name is David Rodriguez, and I'll be taking you on a little bit of a tour regarding the different types of applications that Safe Mobile actually carries. Um, the way that I plan on doing this is that we will simply go through a brief overview of the entire product portfolio for Safe Mobile, starting with this very first video, which is going to focus primarily on the Safe Dispatch application, as well as a few other things that I think you should know regarding this product, which will hopefully allow you to sell the product more efficiently and to have a bit more confidence when it comes to giving details of the Safe Mobile product portfolio as a whole. So, with that all said and done, let's get started. I just wanted to let you know that most of the information that I'm going to be going over with you are pretty much readily available via the Safe Mobile website, which is safemobile.com. One of the other things that I recommend that you do as soon as possible, if you haven't done so already, is go to support.safemobile.com and sign up for a username and password to grant you access into our support center. The support center itself has a lot of valuable information, and it will also allow you to provide feedback, download brochures and manuals and things like that if they're available. And also, if you have any tickets that are open that are awaiting our Safe Mobile technical support agents' attention, you'll actually be able to see the status of those tickets through our agent interface. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin with just a basic overview of Safe Dispatch in a presentation that I like to call the Safe Dispatch version 7 walkthrough. Okay? First things first, I wanted to give you just an overview of the Safe Dispatch application itself and let you know that the newly redesigned Safe Dispatch version 7 is a professional, client-hosted software application that enables two-way radio users to not only host, but also manage an intuitive radio system display, voice dispatching, as well as an AVL solution on their own computer without incurring any monthly fees associated with other web-based or cellular options. Safe Dispatch version 7 provides all of the necessary means to effectively track and monitor mobile assets and personnel by adding intelligent features that work in conjunction with digital radio platforms such as Moto Turbo, Tetra, and other digital two-way radios that are out there. Continuing in with our Safe Dispatch version 7 overview, I wanted to let you know that by adding Safe Dispatch version 7 solutions almost instantly provides a return on investment through various types of benefits, which include increasing productivity, time and route management, effective customer service, fleet maintenance monitoring. There also may be some insurance premium reductions that may be available, improved communication, real-time data to pinpoint cost-saving opportunities, and reductions in overtime. These are all very important things to bring up with your potential end user to see how our solutions can help them to save money that they can then put back into their business. Safe Dispatch version 7, let's go over the features next. The following modules can be mixed and matched in order to customize the perfect solution based on individual needs. Some of the features that Safe Dispatch has available are voice dispatching and call recording, reporting, which also includes report scheduling, telemetry, text messaging. We also have an email gateway, our new job ticketing feature, which is great for being able to see the workflow progression of job tickets as they're being assigned to radios in the fleet, and of course GPS AVL tracking for live location data, historical playback, and things of that nature. SafeDispatch version 7 also supports a variety of different mapping platforms such as ArcGIS, OpenStreet, Esri, and of course our standard recommended Google Maps. These various types of mapping platforms help to provide an even stronger solution that gets the job done. Now on to the exciting part. I'm going to show you a product demonstration just to show you how the actual product works as a whole. And in order to do that, I'm going to flip over to a different screen, which is going to be our Windows 7 screen, which you should be able to see here. Let me just actually make sure, just to be on the safe side here. Yeah, I think we're good there. Alrighty, so now you should be able to see my Windows 8 desktop here on my computer. The first thing that you're going to want to do, actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me go back real quick, and I am going to discuss with you a little bit of information about kind of some various types of system configurations that go into creating a SafeDispatch application. So one of the things that I wanted to let you know is that on the server side of SafeDispatch, you have various types of ways to pull data from the actual radio system itself. One way can be done with the utilization of a feature that Motorola provides called NAI data or NAI voice, or a combination of both. As you can see on the left side of the diagram here, that feature, NAI data, needs to be installed on every single repeater in the radio system in order for it to work properly. Your radio dealer would have to procure that actual update to the repeater. They would have to purchase that from Motorola directly. So once we have that established, you're going to have what's called your server PC, which is going to have not only the application server software, the gateway software, the admin module, and the database, but you're also going to want to install a Motorola provided product called MNIS. MNIS stands for the Moto Turbo Network Interface Service. NAI Data Connection, the actual acronym of NAI, means Network Application Interface Data. So for this particular situation, which you see here on the screen, you will see a server PC with MNIS, the app server, the gateway, the admin module, and database installed on it, being connected via an Ethernet connection to the main repeater of the system, which all of these repeaters that are in the system have the NAI data application on them. And then you have various client PCs, which are going to be connected not only in the home office, but also in two remote offices that you'll see on the bottom right-hand side. It is very important that you make sure that clients connected over VPN have the same IP class as the server local area. Each client is going to also need to have a static IP over their VPN. So the two remote offices and the home office are going to be talking to the server PC through an IP network, a local area network, or a VPN over internet with additional TCP software. So now that you have all of these systems in place, all of these computers properly configured, all of these computers with the software installed on them, now all that's left is programming the radios, the actual Motorola portable or mobile radios that are going to send their GPS data, voice, things like that, text messaging, etc., over the Moto Turbo network back through the repeater system into the server PC. The additional client licenses, what they're going to do is they're simply going to ping the IP address of the server PC in order to share and see the same information that that server PC actually is going to see. So that's what's going to allow you to see the radios on the map moving around, and also will allow the dispatchers to send text messages to them, send voice calls to them, record voice as well. If you are going to be doing voice recording, you are going to require an additional piece of hardware, which is called the USB 3000 codec. You should have some information about this in your brochure. If you do not know where that brochure is located, ask the Safe Mobile Marketing Department for a brochure which details a little bit more about the MNIS software and NAI data connectivity. Okay. There are also other different ways to configure a radio system. So here's another example where you have a main server in a server room connected to a Moto Turbo set of Moto Turbo repeaters, which are NAI enabled, and also those there are several client PCs, dispatch PCs in kiosks on a campus. Let's imagine that it's a college or university or something, that are going over the network in order to collect the data from the server PC, and the Moto Turbo radios are working as they should. Okay. Here's another example for you to see where we, instead of NAI enabled repeaters, we have base radios instead. So some of this information can be found in the Motorola System Planner, but just to kind of give you a brief overview, Moto Turbo repeaters have two separate slots, slot A and slot B, and those can be utilized for voice and data. So for every repeater that you have in a conventional system, just as a rule of thumb, you will require one base radio per slot if you're not using the NAI data connectivity. So for this example, we're imagining that there's only one repeater in the Moto Turbo network, and you have one slot for voice, one slot for data. Why do you need a slot for voice and a slot for data? Why do you need a base radio for voice and data? The reason is very simple. That is because, according to Motorola, the presence notification of the radios that are out in the field, that presence notification is sent over via the voice channel. So just kind of keep that in mind. Here's another example for you of something a little bit more complex. This is two separate Moto Turbo networks in two different towns, which also have a text, which are only utilizing text messaging only. So you're going to have a server PC with a gateway, admin module, text messaging software, and then a separate remote PC that's going to have an additional gateway and some text messaging software as well. And I think those are, oh, here's one last example of a very simplified system for voice recording, and GPS data and text messaging. So as you can see on the server side, it's a little bit differently configured. On the server side, you're going to see that you have your PC with MNIS, the app server, the gateway, the admin module, the database, as well as the USB 3000 codec we mentioned previously. And all of the repeaters in the system are now equipped with NAI data as well as voice connectivity. So that's kind of it's a little bit different. One of the nice things about our voice recording is that you can actually pick up voice recordings from all of the radio traffic happening throughout the network, including private calls between radios. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so there's a bunch of different examples here that you can look over. They get a little bit more complex as time goes by. So for this one here, we have some different base radios for voice data. In this case, there are 4, meaning that there's probably more than likely 2 repeaters working in this radio system, and they're connected to an application server. The application server is sending data and sharing data with 5 other offices. Okay. Okay. So now that I've given you a little bit of information about the kind of some of the diagrams and some of the different configurations that the software can go into, let's go ahead and, I guess, dive into the SafeDispatch application itself. So now on our Windows 8 desktop that we have here in front of us, I just want to let you know and show you the different components of the software. So with SafeDispatch, you're going to get the SafeDispatch application here, the Moto Turbo gateway software. That's what's going to establish the connection with the network, the radio network, that is. And then you have your application server. If the application server and the Moto Turbo gateway are not open, guess what? The software is not going to open. So you have to make sure that both of these applications are running prior to opening up the software. One of the other things that comes included with SafeDispatch is going to be your administrative module. And in your administrative module, this is where you're going to set up radios and things like that. But let me actually show you that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and double click on the administrative module icon, and in just a second you'll see the admin module come up. Here you go. And we're going to put in our password. By default, the password is password. So we're going to go ahead and bring that up so that you can take a look at it. All right. Welcome to the SafeDispatch version 7 administrative module. What you're going to notice here is that there are various tabs here at the very top. These are the things that you can control, change, and manipulate. So the first tab that I'm going to go into are going to be the users. And just to give you a quick overview of what the users tab does, this is where you can actually create default users and different dispatcher IDs and passwords, so that just for example, if you have a system with multiple dispatchers, you can actually set them all up with their own unique username and password. The way that you would actually do that is you would click add, and you would fill in the form that shows up here. So on this form, you have the type of dispatcher, the login name, the password. You're obviously going to confirm the password, and you can even associate it to a first and last name. Once you're done with that, you're going to hit add. Inside your username and password, once it's created, such as in this default one that's here, this is where you can actually assign units to that user. So you can have some, I guess, some distinction between dispatchers as to who they can and cannot monitor. So, for example, if you have Group A that is only monitored by the dispatcher that is in during the morning, you can assign those vehicles or units or devices to just that user. You can also have, a default user that has control over everything and can view every single radio that's in the system. In that case, you would have every single unit assigned to that user. Okay. And in here, you can set up different metrics, such as the time and date format. You can set up the type of icons that you want to use. You can assign different gateways to those users. So all of that is done in the Users tab. Under the units, under the actual Units tab, this is where you can create new devices that are going to be monitored by the software or units. You can provide them with a radio ID, a unit name, if you want them to have their own unique ID. You can also set up which user has access to them in the system. You can also, if you need to, you can assign them to a group of radios. So if you have multiple groups that you're working with and you want to assign radios to that particular group, you do have the ability to do so within this particular tab. One of the nice things about the newly designed Units tab is that you can also, once you've clicked add, you can put in a range of units, meaning that rather than putting units in one by one, you can select a range of units. For example, device 101 to 201, for example, with a unit ID pattern, assign those to a user and set up the same reporting interval for all of them. And that way, all of those devices will be dropped in at the exact same time. So just as an example, we've got device 111 to 200. The unit pattern you're going to put in as car hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. You're going to assign it to a default user, all of them with, let's say, half-a-minute intervals, assigning to delivery group, and you want the icon to be an army vehicle like a Humvee, which you'll see here, and then you would hit add. All of those devices would be dropped into your unit list under that particular user. Okay. You can also create unit groups in here. I already have a few that have been added. What you're going to do if you want to create a group within SafeDispatch, you're going to click add, type in the group name. If there's a CPS ID that's available, you would hit add group once that's done, and you would now be able to assign units to that particular group. Whenever you make changes in here, be sure to click Save Settings, because if you don't, you're going to end up having to do it all over again. In the alarm section, this is where you would be configuring your various types of alarms for speed, geofences, landmarks, emergency, and telemetry if applicable if you're working with mobile radios. This is where you would configure all of that. Keep in mind for right now, for the time being, these alarms need to be configured individually per radio. So right now I don't think that there is a... Actually, I'm wrong. If you hit shift and scroll down, you can actually set up emergencies and telemetry for all of your devices. Okay, so that's actually a new thing that I just learned, and you're just learning it with me, so that's great. All right. In the settings tab, this is where you would configure your email server. So if you're going to be doing email messaging between radios, you can set that up here in this little tab. You can back up your database. You have an icons manager in here where you can add your own custom icons if you like. You can delete database icons as well. And you can acknowledge all of your alarms in here also. One of the other nice new features in here as well is the ability to send a poll after each text message. So if you have a customer that's interested in not only getting the text messages, but the locations of where those text messages took place, all you need to do is click send poll after each text message, and that will be sent. That information will be sent to a report called I believe it's called the text messaging report within SafeDispatch. But we'll look at that in a little bit as well. Under gateways, this is where you would configure your different gateways here, meaning your base radios or your repeaters that are NAI enabled. Under registration, this is what's going to tell you or your client what suites you have and how many of those suites are available on your registration dongle. So your software is always going to come with a registration dongle. That's what's going to have the amount of suites, radios, and things like that that are available based on your purchase order. In here, you also can also see a display of all the reports that are defined to be automatically sent to specific email addresses. Those would be part of your daily reports, or what we call report scheduling. You would be able to see those as they're configured in the administrative module. Okay, so that's kind of just a brief overview of the administrative module itself. Now that we've got all that stuff set up, we can close that. And we're going to go ahead and open up our SafeDispatch application by double-clicking on the icon marked SafeDispatch. In the welcome screen, you're going to see the version that you're working with. For this video that you're watching now, we are currently using version 7.1.0.9182. There may be a future version that you'll be using, so hopefully this information is still accurate. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and log in utilizing our password, which is password. We're going to click login. And what this is going to do is it's going to launch the SafeDispatch application itself. Okay. Now, I do not have any radios connected at this moment to my laptop, which I'm using for this demonstration. So I am going to utilize and show you the, the features here with the help of my little friend, our simulator. Okay, so this simulator is going to allow me to show you how the various features of SafeDispatch work. Okay, so if you see me opening up this window, don't worry about it. It's just basically me working through the simulation in order to show you how some of the features work. So I'll minimize that. I just wanted to show it to you so that you can see what it looks like, so you're not alarmed. Anyway, the first thing that I'm going to do, let me start my GPS just so that you can see some units moving around on the map. There we go. And as you can see, this is a map around the Chicagoland area for, we're going to say that they're bike messengers or motorcycle messengers, delivering some type of goods and services to various clients throughout Chicago, even into the Midway Airport and other areas contained therein. I'm going to show you here that SafeDispatch has a bunch of different tabs that are available. Everything from Live tab all the way to Alerts. I am going to go with you briefly through these different tabs so that you can get a little bit more familiarized with them. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the actual Live tab. Now, SafeDispatch in this demo version that I have here has every single suite that's available from the Safe mobile application. One of the nice things that you have here is as far as your mapping is concerned, is you're utilizing Google. The nice thing about Google Maps is that with Google, you can actually see traffic patterns. Not only that, but you'll also have a regular map and a satellite view map, which is going to give you not only your satellite view, but it is also going to give you a bird's eye view as well, or a street level view. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you an example of that. We'll click on this little man here, and you'll be able to see a street level view of where that vehicle is located. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we're back where we started. In order to have a better visual here, I'm going to go back to the regular map view just to show you this, and let you know about the left side of the menu. The left side of the menu is going to have your unit list and whatever groups you have set up. So as you can see, we have one group called Made Off and one group called Off. These are our bike messengers that we were talking about earlier. Each icon on here has its own distinctive radio ID. You also have a couple of different little icons underneath. One of them is going to allow you to center on the map on a particular vehicle, as I've just done by clicking on it. One of them is going to open up what's called a quick message window, and the other one is going to open up a quick push to talk window. This, in case, is these are one and the same. So if for whatever reason I wanted to send a quick text message over to Bike 103, I can do that by simply typing the message in here and hitting send. If I have predefined messages set up, I would be able to send them a predefined message as well. Let me delete this real quick. Okay. And if I wanted to call the radio and do a quick private call to that radio, I would just click on the button here, and that would initiate a private call to Bike 103. Go ahead and close that. You also have the ability to send a quick text message via this little box that's here in the dialog window that comes up when you click on a device. And you can initiate a call as well by clicking on this little voice icon here. Okay. The pop-up window that comes up for each device is going to show you when they last reported, what the last reported speed was, as well as an address if the address is available. If the address has a little yellow man next to it, by clicking on it, it will take you to that street level view that I showed you earlier. Okay. You also have a search feature in here. So if I wanted to look for demo 101, I would simply type in demo. This is not case sensitive, and it will filter down to the radio that I want to see. The same goes for if I want to see just the bikes in here or delivery and so on and so forth. Okay. Down here, you also have the ability to show your landmarks, show your geofences, and enable group auto refresh. That is something that is available in here as well. I'm going to unclick these. In order to select and deselect units, you can select all up here, or you can select individual groups by checking on their respective groups. You also have the ability, if you click on the icon and it grays out, it will take it off of the map. If you click it again, it'll bring it back to the map. Okay, and that's basically the live map overview. One of the other things that you have in the live tab, and on all the tabs actually, is a quick address finder. So if you wanted to look at, I don't know, Las Vegas, Nevada, for example, you would click Las Vegas, hit enter, and it would populate the address that you've typed in. This comes in handy if you want to find out what vehicles are closest to any particular address. It will populate accordingly. Okay. Select all again. There we go. All right, so the next one, the next tab I want to go into, just to show you that real quick, is the unit history. Just kind of staying on this GPS location topic here. SafeDispatch has the ability to pull GPS data and show it to you as a historical playback. This actually is really neat because you can actually kind of go back in time and see where any of the vehicles have been at any particular date and time. I'm going to show you an example of that now, and I'm going to need my simulator to help me do that. Just give me a second here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my bike messenger here, and I'm going to just do a quick search of the history here. And by clicking on search, what's going to happen is that the software is going to look for any addresses that are available within that history period, the time period that you've selected. And it's going to display it on the map as a series of pinpoints and a line that's going to kind of display the route that was taken. So this usually takes a couple of minutes anywhere from a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes, depending on your processing speed. Because I'm connected to a VPN and connected to GoToMeeting and connected to various other things like Skype and my email all at once, the information is taking a little bit longer than I like, but it will definitely eventually come up in just a few minutes here, right? Probably a few seconds. So just bear with me for just a moment. These historical playback reports can also be done by pulling data for your groups, or you can do it for all vehicles. Keep in mind, though, based on how many vehicles you select and pull GPS history for, if you're also pulling up addresses, it could take a little bit of time. As you can see, within a minute or so, we now have the historical playback data for Jack 201, and you're going to have some different features here, such as the play functionality. When you click the play button, what's going to happen is that you're going to get an awesome little breadcrumb trail of where that vehicle has been. And obviously you can slow this down. I just wanted to do this for effect so that you can see all the circles that this particular unit went through. So there you go. And each one of these little pinpoints has a heading on it. It also has a time and date stamp on it. And these are all associated with these various pinpoints that have shown up here. Okay. And at any time, you can reset this and select a different type of vehicle and see their playback data as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go back a little bit to the actual live tab and show you the geofence and landmark section of the software. Geofences and landmarks. Geofences are imaginary boundaries that you can create on the map at any point in time. These geofences can be displayed or hidden, and you can even set up various types of alerts in order to show when vehicles go or devices go in and out of a geofence, and those will be represented by an alarm and or a text message or an email or different types of alerts. So I'll show you that real quick. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to find a point to start off with. So in this case, I'm going to click Chicago. All right, and I'm going to. I think I'm going to use this Butler field as my site where I'm going to put my geofence. So with that said and done, now that we have that ready to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little mark here that says Start Drawing Geofence on Map. But the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that New Geofence is selected. I'm going to put in a geofence name that's going to be Butler Field. And now I should be able to draw on the map. And look at there. Now we have an awesome purple landmark. These landmarks can change shape as well once you've saved them, so you can edit them at any time. Before I do that, I'm going to set up the different types of alerts that I want for this geofence. You can set up a speed alert within the geofence. You can set up the alert type. So if I want only for if I only want to be alerted when a radio is going into a geofence, I would only select in. If I want both, I would select out as well. As far as alert functionality is concerned, you can send a text message to the unit that raised the alarm. You can send a text message to other units when an alarm has been raised. So whenever a violation takes place. So for example, if I wanted for the software to send a text message to the shift manager every time one of the employees goes in and out of a geofence, I would have the ability to do so by typing the information here and filling in the appropriate fields. One of the other things that you can do is you can send an email address, send an email to an email address anytime that an alert is raised. So if you're like the owner of the company, for example, if they want to receive an alert, all you have to do is fill in their email address, type in a message body for it, and then you would just hit save. Okay. So I will go ahead and save that because I like the way the geofence is set up. At any time, if you wanted to edit this, you can do that as well. Okay. Excellent. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to show you is the landmark section. Let me zoom out a little bit on our map by using this little tool in the bottom right-hand corner. And I'm going to create a landmark for Navy Pier here, which you can see on the right-hand side. In order to set up a landmark, it's very simple. Type in the name, Navy Pier. You can either type in the address of the landmark that you want, or you can click on the map. But before you do that, you're going to want to put in a description. I'm just going to put in Navy Pier. Obviously, I'm not going to have the landmark latitude and longitude, so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to click on Navy Pier, and as you can see, close this. The geofence has now, the landmark has now been created on Navy Pier. The latitude and longitude has already filled itself in, and I'm going to make this a large icon. So there's our large icon, and I don't like the color, so I'm going to make it red. And the icon you can change as well using the selector here with all these various types of icons. And hit save. There you go. If for whatever reason you have a customer that has numerous landmarks that they want to install and set up in their software, and they don't want to go through one by one by one putting these landmarks into the system, it's not a problem. All you're going to have to do is have your client create an Excel spreadsheet with the name of the landmark that they want, a description if applicable, the address of the landmark, and that's pretty much about it. Maybe the color and the size, just the information that you see in this form that can be filled out. And what will happen is that the engineering department will take that Excel spreadsheet, begin a remote session with your end user, and import through their techniques and skills and what have you. They can import all of that data into their SafeDispatch. So not a problem. That's just one of the things that you need to keep in mind, is that hopefully you're taking notes. Would be basically to that there is a way to import those data points into the software. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about text messaging. The text messaging tab is pretty simple. Not really much to it. There's an inbox for everyone. There's an outbox for all of the radios, and each radio has their own individual inbox as well. In order to create a text message that you want to send to a radio, what you're going to do is click this new message tab up at the top. You're going to select the group of radios or the individual radio that you want to send a message to. You do have a nice little search window in here as well. You can save that text message as a predefined text message if you like, or you can just manually type it in here. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to hit send. One of the nice things that you can do about this too is you can schedule the sending of text messages. So if you don't want the text message to send right away and you want it to send later on, you have the ability to do so within this window. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to know about these particular text messages. You also do have a filter where you can show unread messages only, read messages, or all messages. And if you wanted to search the text, search within the text messages, a message starting with Bill McNeely or something, you have the ability to type that in there, and SafeDispatch will filter accordingly in order to find that particular message. Okay. The next thing that I want to show you is going to be the job ticketing feature. This is actually one of our latest features and newest features that have become available. Excuse me. With job ticketing, what you're able to do, what this allows you to actually do is create job tickets, which can be assigned to not only individual radios, but groups of radios, and sent to the radio in the form of a kind of a text message, but the difference is that the text message, there is a set of different menu options that are available where you can actually change the status of the message, meaning you can assign it to yourself, you can accept the message that comes in, you can mark it as in progress, you can complete it, and this is just kind of a workflow management feature of SafeDispatch. It's actually really nice. I'm going to show you some examples here, but before I go into an example of a job ticket and showing it from beginning to end as it's being completed, I wanted to show you some of the filters that are in here. You can filter by subject or by message. You can filter by ticket status. You can even set up your own priority filters if you'd like. Created from, created until, who it was handled by, the number of tickets you want to see displayed on the screen. You can display the deleted job tickets, delete only the ones that have expired. You can even export these tickets as well. You can show and hide the columns that are in here that you want to see. So for example, if you don't want to see who it's handled by, you can uncheck that. If you want to see if you don't want to see who it was created by, you can uncheck that. So it's all very customizable. What's really nice about this job ticketing feature is that it's not vertical market specific. So a lot of other competitors out there have job ticketing software that's designed specifically for casinos or hotels or hospitals. Um, our job ticketing feature is not does not have to adhere to one particular type of vertical market, so it can be customized in order to work with pretty much anyone that needs job tickets filled and that need to see the workflow of a job ticket. So, just to give you some ideas there, I'm going to go ahead and click a new ticket here, and I'm going to assign it to, who do I want to assign it to? I'm going to assign it to Jack 201. You can select multiple ones as well. I'm going to put in a ticket subject that says, pick up Mr. Smythe. Ticket message. I'm going to put in the address, 1234 Grand Haven Way, Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to set this up as a high priority. I'm not going to share it with a dispatcher because you do have the ability to do that. You can share with other dispatchers. You can even set a due date or schedule the job ticket to send at a certain point in time. And you can even save this ticket as a predefined ticket when sending a secondary one. Then I'm going to hit send. Now, as you can see, down here at the bottom, we have our new ticket that has been assigned to Jack 201 with a high priority on this date and time, less than a minute ago. Let me go ahead and pull up our simulator again. And what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that this is a radio receiving that new ticket to pick up Mr. Smythe, and you'll see it here. Now, what I can do, let me just move this over here. Now what I can do, keep your eye on this section here where it says assigned. I'm going to change that status on my radio to in progress. What you're going to see is that the status of the ticket is going to change. So what I'll do here, let's go ahead and refresh here. And as you can see, the ticket status has changed. I'll actually change that again. And there we go. Now it shows assigned. Let's change this to completed again. Let's just log in real quick again. Whoops. Let me log in again. Okay. Gonna have to reopen my my simulator real quick. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Okay, so let me pull up my simulator again. Let me log in. Oops. Okay, well, it looks like my database connection is not working right now, so let me go ahead and leave that as it is. But you guys get the idea of how these job tickets would work. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is going to be the reporting suite. The reporting suite has a bunch of different types of text, bunch of reports that are available, which you can print up. Details for what each of these types of reports does is going to be made available within the SafeDispatch manual. So if you don't have that, you can easily you can easily acquire that resource from our technical support department. Shoot them over a Skype message, or you can hit them up on via email, support@safemobile.com. Let me go ahead and just pull up. We're going to start off with a basic speeding report here. The speeding report is going to allow you to generate a report that's going to show each vehicle with the status of that's gone over a certain speed limit which you have defined within the administrative module of the software. You're going to have your start time, your stop time. You can select an individual user or all. In this case, I'll just select one unit real quick. You also can do report scheduling here. So if you wanted to set up a daily report to send to an email address of your choosing, you have the ability to do so here with the different days of the week. What I'll go ahead and do is I'll hit generate report, and you'll get an idea of what the type of data that is available within this report. So for the speeding report, you will get the unit name, speed, time, date, as well as the address. If the address isn't available, you will also have the latitude and longitude in here. Okay, so there's a bunch of different reports. I recommend that you look at them all in detail, print up a few of them, and then kind of go from there. We also have a job ticketing report that's nice. Here you go. This shows all the different job tickets with the status and start time and end time. All of the reports are exportable, so you can export them to Excel or to a PDF or to a web archive and things like that. And of course, as I said before, you have that nice report scheduling feature, which I don't think anyone has right now besides Safe Mobile, where you can actually send a daily report to an email address of your choosing. In the radio tab here, this is what is going to allow you to do voice dispatching calls to different radios. You also have a voice recording feature in here where all of your recordings are saved. You're going to notice right here, this is your main push to talk button. This is the button that you're going to press and hold down in order to talk to radios that are out in the field. One thing that I will have you know is that in order for push to talk to work, you need to have base radios connected to the PC. This does not the voice recording, or sorry, the voice dispatching does not work with NAI voice connected repeaters. You have to go through base stations or base radios, as we would call them, or control stations, as we would call them. And those radios that are connected to the server PC would also need to be connected to a sound card, which our technical support department has specs on. It's actually a very inexpensive solution, under $300. It's a sound card that we have had great success with troubleshooting and using and setting up and things like that. So let the they actually can be acquired very easily by your end user. They're available on Amazon or eBay or various types of electronic depots where you can find um, computer products or sound products. So I would recommend kind of taking a look and pulling up the specs on that as well. You have a favorites list in the voice dispatch module. So if you have a set of radios that you call on a daily basis, you would have those depicted here. You would also have an all call button in here that will call every single radio in the fleet. And you have your subscribers in here that you can select also. So if I wanted to call, let's say, for example, just radio 207, I would click on 207, and then I would click on this little push to talk button here. Okay. And that's how that works. Under the settings, this is where you would configure your headset or your different audio devices. and your call list recordings would be displayed in this box here, and you can export those as a recordings list for archiving purposes. You can do that as well. So that's a really nice feature. SafeDispatch also supports telemetry. So if you have a mobile radio that is hooked up to digital IOs, you do have the ability to monitor those different IOs. For example, we have Demo 101 that has a snow plow in front, door open, door closed, and one that's unassigned. Plow up, plow down. These are telemetry events that are associated with special switches within the vehicle, that when those switches are engaged or disengaged, the status will change. Anytime that a telemetry event comes up, you will also see the position where that telemetry event took place. So this is just an example. That's why the map is here. All right. We will be integrating also with a device called Talisman. I don't have very much information about that, but you can ask your manager for information and status updates on where that process is. That will allow you some different telemetry features as well. We do have a system tab here. The system tab is typically used by our technical support department in order to do additional troubleshooting. So during a remote technical support session, they may ask the client to export the data to a log file. You would do that here. And here's where your various alerts. The last tab that we have is your alert section. The alert tab is going to show you various alarms, including emergency and telemetry and things of that nature. And those are saved in this little alarm list that's here. Okay. The alarms are set up as a pop-up, so you can be in any screen of SafeDispatch, and you will be able to see those alarms as they come up. By right-clicking on an alarm, you can acknowledge them, so that way you're clearing the alarm. If you have a multitude of different alarms, you can clear them all out via the administrative module of the SafeDispatch application. Okay, well, that's about all I have. Let me see if there's anything left here. No, that's the last part here of this presentation. So I thank you for taking the time to join me for this little walkthrough of the SafeDispatch application. If you have any questions, please let your manager know, or you can utilize your support department, support at safemobile.com. They are great people, and they work really hard, and they'll be able to help you with any questions that you may have. All right, well, thank you, and I hope you have a great day and happy selling.